How is it going, Databases? No Data here, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Roblox Murder Mystery 2. So if you guys remember, I made a video a little while back on how to get rich quick in Murder Mystery 2. It was a nice little guide video. If you haven't checked out that video, go ahead and click the I in the top right corner. It's a pretty good guide on how to get some knives really quickly. But in that video, I asked if you guys want a full guide on how to not get scammed in MM2, and a lot of people said yes, they would like to see a guide on how to not get scammed. Scammers are definitely a big problem in MM2. They're a problem in pretty much any game that has trading, let's be honest here. There's always going to be people trying to get you. Now, unfortunately, if you do get scammed, there is no way to get your stuff back. The developers cannot really do anything about people who get scammed. So if you get scammed, you basically just have to make sure it doesn't happen again. And well, that's what this video is for. So in this video, we're going to look at some of the common methods that scammers will use, and we'll see how we can prevent them. Be sure to drop a like, it helps out a whole lot. And guys, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more Murder Mystery 2 videos in the future. And one more thing, guys, don't forget to use star code purple when buying Roblox and Roblox Premium, because it really helps me out to continue making these videos. Alright, so let's go over some of the common methods of scamming and how we can kind of avoid them. And I think one of the biggest tips that I can give for not getting scammed is to only do trades that happen in MM2. If you're trading away your MM2 knives, you want to get MM2 knives in return. Alright, do not try to get anything else outside of MM2. A lot of people are going to offer you things outside of MM2, such as Adopt Me Pets or Pet Simulator X Gems or something. And this type of trade is called a cross trade. A cross trade is when you trade something in one game to get something else in a different game in return, basically just trading in between games. And doing this is very risky. First and foremost, doing something like this is actually against the Roblox terms of service. Trading between different games can be considered a form of black market trading, and well, you could potentially get banned. Now, I'm gonna be honest, Roblox isn't really tracking down people who do this, and the people that they do ban are typically trading Robux or real money, but I'll get into those two things in a little bit. But even so, cross trading is just not worth the risk, and again, because you have to hop between the games, it's very likely that you're gonna get scammed from it. So yeah, I know a lot of different games have trading systems, but just keep your inventories in those games. Don't cross trade between different games because it's just not a good thing to do. But yeah, speaking of black market deals, we have another form of trading using Robux and real money. Sometimes people might want to buy your weapons with Robux or real money. Maybe they'll want to use PayPal or something, which does sound really good because it sounds really nice to be able to make profit off of your inventory. But again, this is a very bad thing to do. First of all, this is definitely against the terms of service. It literally says in the TOS that you cannot use Robux for these reasons. But again, in those situations, someone has to go first, and the scammer's probably gonna make you go first. And then they're just gonna leave and take all your items, and that's not gonna be fun. Also, if a scammer uses something like PayPal, they can actually mark that transaction as like fraudulent. Like, they can literally just dispute the transaction, and then you're gonna have to pay back that transaction, and then they're just gonna keep your weapons. So yeah, again, it does sound like a good idea to sell your inventory for money, but just don't do it. It's not worth the risk. Just keep your inventory where it is, okay? Now, another big thing that can make people get scammed are multi-trades. As you guys know, Murder Mystery 2 only allows 4 trading slots. You can only trade 4 different knives at a time. If you have duplicates of a knife, you can put them in that one same trading slot, but you can only trade 4 different knives at a time, which to me always sounded really dumb. I think there should be infinite trading slots in MM2. I know there are games out there that have infinite trading slots. Why can't MM2 be one of them? But yeah, the point is, MM2 only allows 4 trading slots. So if you want to make a trade that requires more than 4 different knives, then well, you're gonna have to do multiple trades for that one trade. Let's say, for example, you want a corrupt, and in your inventory you have a bunch of different small godlies. Let's say you have like 20 different small godlies, and when you put them all together, then yeah, that would equal the value of corrupt, but sadly that is 20 different knives and not 4. So you would have to do a bunch of different trades to be able to afford that corrupt. And when you're in that situation, unfortunately, the best thing you can do is to just not make that trade. And if you want to trade for that corrupt, you'll have to trade with a couple of other people before you try and do that. You can do some trades with other people to upgrade your weapons and get some other more expensive godlies. So hopefully you'd be able to turn 20 smaller godlies into 4 bigger godlies. and then maybe you'll be able to trade for corrupt from there. Or you could hoard certain knives, because again, if you have dupes of a knife, you can put that in one trading slot. So if you have a bunch of one godly, then by all means, you can go ahead and put that in one trading slot. Either way, you would have to do some other trades in that situation if you wanted a big knife like corrupt or chroma swirly gun or chroma candle flame, stuff like that. Now, a lot of people do suggest using a quote-unquote trusted middleman. If you ask me, I don't think middlemen are any more trustworthy than anyone you're trading with. If you ask me, that's just how I feel about it. Having a middleman is just as risky as everything else, so again, the best thing you can possibly do is just to stick with trades that only have 4 trading slots. And yes, it will take a lot more time to upgrade for the bigger godlies like corrupt or the chromas, but it's way better than losing your stuff, you know? I'd say another form of the multi-trade is the code scam, and essentially the code scam is where people will tell you that they have a code for a godly, maybe something like one of the Eternals or the Shark Seeker or the Dartbringer, and according to them, they will give you the code if you give them some MM2 items. Again, in that situation, someone has to go first, and you can't prove that the code actually works. They'll probably just end up giving you a fake code if you give them your items, and then they'll just pretend to not know why it works and then just block you and say goodbye. And again, you just don't want to do those trades. It's against the terms of service in Roblox, and you're just gonna end up getting scammed for it. Another big thing is to not let other people borrow your stuff. A lot of people will just ask to hold on to something and then give it back later. And yeah, typically if you let someone borrow an item, they're just gonna leave and not give it back, especially if it's someone you don't know. And even some friends might ask you to lend them some knives, and then in that situation, you're just kind of like, I don't want to be a jerk about it, but I also don't want to lose my stuff. If you want my opinion on it, I'd say do not let anybody borrow your knives. Do not lend out your knives to anybody, not even your friends, not even people you know, because it is not worth the risk. When you do that, anybody has the power to scam you. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that your friends are scammers. If you trust your friends, you know, all the power to you, but even so, it is just not worth the risk. The best thing you can possibly do is just not let anyone borrow your knives. Your stuff is your stuff, keep it that way, and everybody else is just gonna have to work for their stuff. Another big method of scamming that's sort of in the borrowing category is a trust trade. Trust trades have been trending a lot lately in MM2, and this is basically when someone quote unquote records someone giving them an item and then they give the item back to them. And they'll say that they do this to give themselves some credibility. There have been a lot of people genuinely doing trust trades to gain that credibility. I've always hated trust trades because, first of all, a lot of trust trades are just fake. They'll literally just leave with your items and not actually be recording. But also, there's really no point to trust trading because, again, if you don't do any cross trades, you don't do any multi-trades, and you don't do any black market deals, there's really no reason to have a trust trade or to be trusted to any capacity, because if you're just following the rules of MM2 and having a 4-slot trading system, then there's no way to get scammed. So yeah, I never really understood why people do trust trades or scam through trust trades, but just don't do trust trades. There's literally no reason to. Another thing is to avoid duping scams. Some people are going to claim that they are a duper, and if you give them something, they'll duplicate it for you. First of all, duplicating knives is just a bad thing in general. It just destroys the economy. You're not really gonna get much value out of duping because you're just gonna devalue your knife anyway. But even with that aside, just don't do it because it's a scam. You're gonna get scammed if you do that. You're gonna get scammed if you fall for that and give someone your stuff. And also another big thing, and this is a really big one, is to not get hacked. Pretty self-explanatory, but if your account gets hacked, someone can go ahead and hijack your account and basically trade away all of your MM2 knives onto another account, and then everything will be gone. Now, there are many things you can do to avoid getting hacked on Roblox. I can go ahead and make an entirely separate video on how to not get hacked on Roblox. So, I mean, if you want a video on that, go ahead and let me know. But even so, there's already plenty of videos online on how to not get hacked on Roblox, but I'll just go ahead and quickly go over some of the basics. On your account, have 2-step authentication with the Authenticator app. That's definitely a really good way to have security. And if you're on any social media platforms, especially something like Discord, because there are tons of scammers on Discord, if you get a file or a link from someone on Discord, do not open or click on any of those links that you get in DMs, because a lot of them, when you click on them or you open a file, they'll just instantly steal your information and be able to get into your account, and that's just not fun. So yeah, be sure to avoid those links and those files, especially if you're on something like Discord, because that can be pretty dangerous. And in general, be on the lookout for new methods of scamming, because every now and then there will be some kind of new method, some kind of new link, some sort of new method. And actually, I think a few weeks ago or maybe a week ago, there was actually a new method to scamming. I'll just go ahead and quickly mention it because why not? And with this new scam, people are basically using exploits to be able to trade their effects and their powers and their radios. Basically stuff that you can't normally trade in MM2. As you guys know, effects are not tradable. But using these hacks, they're able to kind of sort of trade their effects. But the thing is, they're not actually trading their effects. It's literally just a visual hack. And basically this exploit lets them put their effects into the trading system. But the thing is, when you accept this trade, their effects don't actually get traded over to your account, because again, effects are not tradable. So let's say somebody trades you an effect and you accept it, you're not actually going to get that effect. And if you traded some godlies for that effect and you didn't actually get that knife effect, well, congratulations, you just got scammed. So yeah, that's a pretty new method of scamming. So friendly reminder, effects are not tradable, radios are not tradable, powers are not tradable. Only knives, guns, and pets are currently tradable in MM2, so be on the lookout for that. And in general, there probably are going to be new methods of scamming in the future, so look out for those. But yeah, guys, that is going to be it for this video. There are definitely other methods of scamming that I have not listed, but those are the general basics as to how to not get scammed in MM2. And if there's one thing you should take from this video, I would say that in general, if something looks too good to be true, it probably is. Trading your entire inventory for corrupt, if that sounds too good to be true, well, that's because it is. Trading your knives for Robux or real money sounds too good to be true, because it probably is. So yeah, if you want to take one thing from this video, that's what you want to take. But that is pretty much it, guys. I want to give a huge shout out to the Murder Mystery 2 value list at mm2values.com, because they actually have a really nice scam prevention. So if you go ahead and hop on the MM2 value list, go ahead and check out the scam prevention. On that scam prevention guide, there's actually some other methods that I did not list. So if you want to learn more about scam prevention, go ahead and check out that guide. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Again, if you guys want to see a video on how to not get hacked on Roblox, I can definitely do that. I already think there's plenty of them, but hey, if you want something from me, I am down to deliver, so just let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Roblox Murder Mystery 2. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all those other things YouTube people do. And I will see you guys in the next video. Stay purple.